Hello friends, and welcome to this quick review for Sunbreak's first free title update. In this update, we were given 4 new monsters, 1 returning locale, and a rehash to the Anomaly quest and material systems. Without further ado, let's jump into the specifics. Let's talk about the new monsters introduced in this first free title update. As usual, I will go over their movesets, visual design, and difficulty level, finishing my thoughts with a rating out of 10 for each monster. The classic Wyvern duo is back, and better than ever. These rare species monsters have evolved past their relatives, developing hardened scales and the power of azure flames. Normal Rathian and Rathalos are nearly perfect in their design. These monsters' movesets mostly consist of charge attacks, fireballs, tail swipes, and some form of poison attack. Rathian and Rathalos are straightforward, and that's a good thing. They teach the player the fundamentals of combat and give valuable lessons on timing and patience. For this reason, I believe the gold and silver rare species are essential to any title's post-game content. This test of knowledge is incredibly enjoyable and well balanced. Starting with Gold Rathian, most upgrades given to this monster are lengthier attack animations that require more patience from the player in order to punish. Rathian's Fireball and Poison Tail attacks, for example, have new animations, and the damage from these attacks are much more powerful than before. Additionally, Gold Rathian has a new finisher that starts with a Poison Tail swipe and ends with a large Fireball explosion. Instead of focusing on physical tail attacks and ground-based combat, Silver Rathalos focuses primarily on projectiles and air attacks. To me, Silver Rathalos is faster and stronger than Gold Rathian, and with new animations, I found myself getting caught off guard regularly. Following in the footsteps of Rathian, Silver Rathalos was also given a new finishing attack as well. This monster begins this attack by firing molten cores at the player and finishes with a massive blast attack. I'll be giving both Gold Rathian and Silver Rathalos an 8 out of 10. A perfect progression as far as challenge, and I love the new animations for both monsters. Next up is the returning Moon Swift Wyvern, Lucent Nargacuga. This rare subspecies has the ability to become invisible in between attacks and will use this to throw off the timing and location of its normal patterns. On top of this, Lucent Nargacuga may now launch poisonous spikes out of its tail, forcing the player into undesirable situations. I always felt that the original version of this subspecies from 3 Ultimate was a design that could have been pushed so much further, and I'm happy to confirm that it finally has been. Nearly all attacks from this monster are either brand new or heavily improved from its original. The addition of invisibility adds the challenge of locating this monster's trajectory. On top of this, pretty much every attack from this monster's arsenal is drastically faster than before. Once again, this creates a considerable learning experience for the player, hammering out lack of patience. I found the new Poison Tail attacks enjoyable to play around with as well. I think this triple spike ring in particular has an interesting animation, and trying to enter this radius before the next ring falls is tricky to pull off. Finally, Lucent Nargacuga's finisher has to be my favorite of this new cast of monsters. Becoming invisible, this monster dashes around quickly, only exposing its eyes to follow. At the end of this dance, the monster flips into a tail slam, causing an instant stun and pretty decent damage. This move is deceptively quick, but I mostly find it incredibly flashy to watch. Lucent Nargacuga receives an 8 out of 10. I didn't find this monster overly challenging, but the fight is extremely entertaining, never leaving me bored. The final monster introduced in this first update is Seething Basiljuice. This variant's explosive scales have heated to the point of molten magma, scorching anything in its path. Similar to a Furious Rajang or Scorn Magnamalo, this monster is permanently enraged, outputting faster attacks and far greater damage. When enraged further, Seething Basiljuice emits a purplish-white glow. Attacks from this monster aren't much different from its original, but most seem to be incredibly quick in comparison. Not only does this monster have speed, but larger explosions as well. When Seething Basiljuice throws out its molten scales, I find myself having little to no time to effectively escape. I found this monster's finisher quite difficult to evade as well. Seething Basiljuice takes flight, circling the player's path with explosive scales. The monster then quickly dives to the ground, exploding with colossal damage. I'll be giving Seething Basiljuice a 9 out of 10. Original Basil Juice is already one of my favorites from the 5th generation, and this new version is better in every way. Let's briefly cover the returning Locale, Forlorn Arena. This Locale has had slight variations between titles, but its charm has remained through each iteration. Sunbreak's version of this Locale is the greatest version present, having beautiful textures and some additional quality of life changes. Capcom seems to always succeed in terms of atmosphere, and this is no exception. Moving on to the final features added in this first update, let's talk about the new Anomaly investigations and Qurio crafting. Anomaly investigations are essentially anomaly quests that have increased difficulty the more you complete them. This is determined by the level icon next to the quest title. Continuing to increase this number will reward the player with a higher amount of materials for each quest to follow. Additionally, these quest conditions are randomized and become more intense the higher the level becomes. For example, the quest time limit could be shortened to 30 minutes, or the hunters will fail the quest after 1 feint instead of 3. These concepts are quite simple and don't add too much as far as authentic challenge, but at least they have some variety opposed to original Anomaly quests. Let's wrap up by talking about the new Qurio crafting mechanic added to Sunbreak. Players are now able to augment their weapons and armor further with this new feature. After spending afflicted materials to unlock augmentation, the player may apply certain skills to said weapon as long as it fits within the slot requirement. These skills can be anything from a slight weapon sharpness boost to an elemental damage boost. If you want more slots, you have to spend higher rarity afflicted materials to do so. Armor, on the other hand, seems to dice roll random skills each time you augment until you find the one that you prefer. Although these mechanics add more depth to afflicted monsters and their materials, I believe these features should have been included with the base version of Sunbreak. I can't help but feel like we are being drip-fed essential parts of this expansion and misled into believing that they are extra features. The monsters present are the only shining stars of this update, and I can't help but feel progressively more disappointed by Sunbreak's endgame content. I'm giving Sunbreak's first free title update a 7 out of 10. Hey, thanks for watching my review for Sunbreak's first free title update. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. I recently started a Discord where we talk about Monster Hunter and other games. It'd be super cool if you'd check that out. I'm occasionally active on Twitch and Twitter, so check those out in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.